Sit back and relax. It's time for the Natasha Simona sequence.
Here we go. Here we go. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Every time I get up from this desk, something moves, something gets added, something gets subtracted. I every day I say this, I'm like, I have to check the cameras because I don't know. I don't think it's my kids at this point. I think I might have a Demogorgon in here. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's a beautiful morning. I really wish IG wouldn't cut the songs when I play them. Right? Wouldn't we love to wake up to this? Good morning, everybody. File in here. Share the room. Got everybody in here.
It's a beautiful morning. I think I'll go outside for a while.
All right, that's about it because they're going to cut it. They're going to flag it. They're going to cut it. It's going to be a mess. So until I get fan base, right? Listen, I have my setup together. Today I said I was going to multi-stream over on YouTube and Facebook at the same time, and now we're adding fan base to it. But there's one more thing I have to that I got to get. So everything is set up. She told me not to shout her out, but you know when you want to brag on people, but you got to respect them, but you want to brag on them, like on some shout out to she know who she is. She went up on that wish list and she said, wish no more. I got you. So shout out to my good sis. Until she says, fine, you could brag. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I'm looking real shiny. I just got out the shower. So all of my face cream is still like, it's still doing, you got to wait for it to settle in. It is Monday, October 3rd. How is this even possible? I had to even look at the date again. Doesn't make any sense. As you all file in here, I'm going to do some behind the scenes stuff and get right for 2 seconds. Boom. There we go. That's all I really needed. Shout out to the room. 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 Listen, I had a very interesting weekend, as a lot of you might assume at this point. You've assumed correctly. I also bit the inside of my lip while I was eating dinner last night. So if you see me trying to take something off, it's because it's the weirdest feeling. I was chewing and bit on my lip, and I didn't think my lips were that big to chew on. I didn't really think I was even that hungry to try and eat myself. So, oh, Natasha. But at any rate, my weekend was interesting. My phone did not stop ringing, whether it was ringing, text messages, emails, all sorts of stuff. It's, the trip is still tripping, but in the name of being resilient and not allowing anybody to shake your own table, you know what I'm saying? Do y'all know what I'm saying? I don't even got to say what I'm saying because you know what I'm saying. Sometimes you just got to look at life and just be like, all right, this is what we dealing with. And then, when the things come in and you get shocked and you're like, all right, cool. You ever hear a story about yourself that was a complete lie from start to finish, and you're so immersed in the story? I actually saw a meme about that a while ago before life decided to life one day. And I saw the meme and I thought it was so funny. It said, you ever heard a rumor about yourself that was so good? A rumor about yourself that was so good, you wanted to hear more about it. Well, that was me this weekend. I heard so much foolishness, as I like to say, I was quiet because I was person on the phone would be like, "Hello, you still there?" I'm like, "Hello, I'm listening to the story. It was so good. Like I wanted to hear more about who I'm not, but it sounds interesting." I don't know where people pull their imagination from. I know I've got a pretty wide imagination, but to stretch certain things, it's like so that's what my weekend was filled of, and I'm like, at what point can I just turn my phone off? You ever feel that way? Like overwhelmed with just like, I'm like, my life is not dramatic like this. This is crazy. I'm gonna turn my phone off. Everybody's like, don't turn your phone off. Like, keep your phone on. And then I have two phones. One being completely dead. Look at this. I brought the other phone, and the phone is useless to me right now. It is completely dead. The phone that I'm on right now is halfway charged. Everything, I'm telling you, like my house phone, I have two house phone, well, two, cordless phones. Both of them died over the weekend. Cell phones dying. I'm like, at what point can I just turn everything off? And, shout out to everybody who called. People wanted to come by. I said, please don't, because I don't need company, nor do I want it, nor do you have my address to show up to my house. So I don't need anybody to come by. I don't need anything. I just want to, be mom. You know what I'm saying? At one point I was like, respectfully, I just want to be mom to my kids. As I told you Friday, my son received the highest honor award achievement from his school. And I say highest because there's a tier that they have that they distributed the honor roll achievements to the students. I didn't know this. So after Friday's show, I went on with the day, and he received, you know what? Hold on a second. I forgot to do something. Let me do this. Oh, I did it. Good job, Natasha. So when I got there, it was like, I almost feel like every ceremony with the 8th grade from here on out is going to be like the prelude to graduation, if you know what I'm saying. And I'm sitting there, and I'm looking, and the way they had the room in which they were doing the ceremony, they had the section for the parents and the section for the students who were going to get the award. And, those seats were empty because they let the parents in early to get situated and stuff. And so I'm sitting there, and my heart is racing, and I'm like, oh my God. And, let me be honest with you, as a single mom, as a single parent, going through certain things by yourself, it's kind of sad. And a lot of people probably won't admit this, and that's fine. I will. I wish I had, people are showing up with their other parents. So, the other, whatever, whether it's the mom or the dad, they're there together. I don't know what their situations are, but mom and dad are showing up. Then you see the grandparents are there, and the godparents and the neighbors, and and that's really nice. Like when I first of all, I didn't receive nobody's honor roll growing up. Let's just wake that up. But I did receive a hell of a lot of sports awards because I ran track when I was in school. So even though my parents, by the time, well, actually no, in 8th grade they were still together. My parents would show up. So I always had two parents there. Do you know what I'm saying? And then depending on, the magnitude of whatever award I was receiving, more times than not, it was track and field related because I didn't get any kind of academic achievement award. I was not that kid. But my friends are. You always got to keep people smarter in your circle. So, but, just to explain, I would see everybody, their parents, my parents would come to things. So me having to do this by myself is very sad. It is a very sad, this is not how I envisioned raising my family when I started off creating my family. And, in the name of life happens, or whatever the case is, this is not, I don't sit around, ooh, boo-hoo. You don't boo-hoo every day. But when you hit these milestones, I wish that, his dad could just do what he needs to do to be a human and a decent human being in life to support his children and be here, not to live here, but, to show up during these, momentous occasions. But nonetheless, that's what life is, and you move forward. So it was a little bit emotional sitting there all by myself because I wanted more people to celebrate Amir. Do you know? And so on Friday's show, if you want to double back and watch it later on, you can. I want you to stay right here with me. I did talk about the fact that my son does not like to celebrate himself. Like, he is a very humble, quiet kid. And, I just love when more people celebrate him so that he can see and feel, I know he feels loved, but there's nothing more than having more people to love on you. Do you know what I'm saying? And so the kids came out and they, the principal and, all the advisor and this person and that person made their whole dedication speech to the children. And then they're going through the names in alphabetical order. Holy Christmas tree. My children, next go around, I might have to marry somebody with an A last name so that way we're at the top of the list. I didn't quite think that one through. When I was naming my children, I gave them A names. Their father's name begins with the A. So I gave my boys A names, and we said, if we had girls, the girls would have an N name for myself. And so my children have A names, and I figured giving my children A names, they'd be at the top of the list. But I forgot that they do things in alphabetical order from the last name. And my children's last name begin with an S. And so I clap for every child. Sidebar, when you go to these functions with, and everybody's receiving something, do not wait for your person to receive the award or whatever it is that you're at. Clap for everybody. And even after your people or your person receives their award, still continue to clap for everybody, because in the name of not knowing who's there to support this person, you want to make sure that you clap for everybody. Okay? Clap for everybody. So here I am clapping all the way through the alphabet, clapping so much that my palms started to get a little numb. So there I am clapping, and, I almost started cheering, but I said, "What, Natasha, are you dumb? You do voiceover work. Like, after this, you're going home to kick out some voiceover work that you have to submit to a whole company. You're going to sit here and scream? Are you, girl, you cannot do what these other people are doing. Just sit here and clap and shut up." This is me talking to me. So I'm clapping away. So now they finally get to like R. So I'm like, doing the mental gymnastics on where is R in the alphabet. So I'm like, we're coming up. So I'm getting ready. And they go, Amir Scott. Now, of course, I don't have that part on video because I'm busy clapping and wait, you don't know what part of the S he's going to be at. And no, not what part of the S he's going to be at. You don't know how many people before him in the S category before it gets to him. And I can't hold the camera and clap at the same time. See, this is where I needed somebody else to be there. So they say his name, and there I am clapping away. His friends were cheering for him. I felt so like, there's people cheering for my baby, because you just don't know. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know. So his friends are like cheering for him. I didn't even know this kid had friends. And then, the rest of the auditorium, they're clapping and I'm clapping. And I said, "That's my boy." And everybody started laughing. And for like half a second, I was kind of embarrassed because I was so overcome with so much joy that it just came out of me. You know what I'm saying? I was like, "That's my boy." Oh. And I was so proud to see him like stand there with his, they give the kids the, the honor award certificate or whatever. And, I was telling you how they broke it up. So the children that were there were all receiving the honor roll award, but they broke it up in the kids who were getting 4.0 and 3.66 to 3.99. So there were two tiers, 3.66 to 3.99, and then a clean 4.0 was another batch of kids. So I didn't know what batch my child was in. I just knew he was getting the goddamn honor roll. I said, damn it, the pressure is real. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, I believe he's getting the highest one. That's what, so now you start questioning yourself, like, what did it say on that paper? So I'm like, damn, maybe I don't know. I don't know which one he's getting. So now I'm sitting there before they called his name and I'm clapping away, not knowing if they would even call his name for this category. But I said, you know what? In the name of it not being, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to clap for every single student. And when they called his name in the 4.0 batch of kids, my kid has a solid 4.0 average. I was like, wow, he's my hero. I've never ever received a 4.0. Nothing. I was not that student. So to see how just humble he was standing there with this, he's like standing there and he's like holding it. And I don't know if it's kids in this age group that they just do not smile. And I'm looking at the group that he's amongst in this in the entirety, 4.0 or the tier next to him, and they are all just so adorable that you can tell each and every one of them are so humble. It's like they would rather be back in the classroom, to be honest with you. And they're all standing on the stage and I'm like, taking pictures or whatever. And I kind of run down the side to get a better picture. And he's smiling at me. And, I'm like waving to him like he's 5 years old. And, I'm waving. When they filed into the auditorium, I was like, do I say anything? Do I keep? But I wanted him to know where I was. You know what I'm saying? And he knows I work a lot. And so he kept telling me, he's like, Mom, don't cut your day to come to this. You don't have to come to this. And I said, I have to come to this, Amir, because I don't know when it's going to be my last day. And God forbid that this is the last moment I have to, I don't know if I'm going to make it to your graduation. You don't know if you're going to make it. Nobody knows. And so I'm here today. You're receiving your award today. I'm going to show up today. My schedule is cleared to show up and celebrate you and this achievement today. And so I wanted him to know Mom was there. Do you know what I'm saying? We're the only ones here in the family. And so, and nobody else is here. Everybody else has their own children and their own lives. And so I want my son to know, you are being represented here. Even if it's just me, I'm small, but I'm mighty. And so when they were filing into the room, I said, Amir, Mommy's here. And he looked and like I almost wanted to cry saying that because I just remember what it felt like for me receiving my sports awards, seeing my parents there. And so I just wanted my son to know, like, Mommy is here. And so afterwards, so then they, went through the whole thing. And afterwards we took some pictures. I didn't put it together. I didn't post anything as yet, but I will. And so I'm trying to take pictures with him and, I had to kind of get him in the mood. Like, come on, son, like celebrate yourself. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay to smile. It's okay to say thank you. He says thank you, but it's okay to like brag on yourself a little bit. And I said, son, I almost want to take this as if it's mine because I've never received an honor award. Like, what is it called again? Honor roll award. And I said, and you have a perfect 4.0 GPA? Like, whose kid are you? I still cannot believe that I birthed this kid. And y'all have heard me say things about their dad that he absolutely deserved. We will not double back on that. But what I will say is that the combination of him and I, we really, really, really made baby Einsteins. So shout out to my baby daddy. Thank you for half of the work. That's about it on that. Back to normal. So shout out to my son for really staying the course and not allowing, anything around him to distract him from getting his work done. He's very, very serious. If you've ever called me, my son is very, very, very serious about his work. He does the work beyond the work. And I've been told by every teacher, including the principal, that if they can give an award for his real GPA based on the extra credit and things like that, they would, but they can't. So they almost feel like this 4.0 is like disrespectful to the actual work that he turns in, which that in itself is insane. So that was Friday. So after that, I came home. I tried to clean up a little bit, but when I tell you my phone would not stop ringing, shout out to everybody that felt that, they wanted to reach out by all the means in which they could get to me. I respectfully want to say thank you for looking out. Thank you for being a friend. Thanks for looking out. So I came home and, the other side of Natasha Simona erupted and cleaned up. I got the shout out to whomever just emailed me and my loud email. So I got the balloon. I told you guys I was going to do that. Let them choose their takeout that he wanted. And, all of that happened Friday. And then Saturday was another day of the phone just going off. And when I tell you this is all new to me, and I said, okay, enough is enough. I have to celebrate my son. I can't deal with the drama. I can't. So I took my kids out on Saturday. I said I was in the kitchen about to cook breakfast, but I'd been on the phone since about 5:45, 6 in the morning, and now it's 11 o'clock. And I'm like, this is way too much to be dealing with somebody else's drama that I did not know about. So let me go clean up the kitchen because from Friday to Saturday, the kitchen looked like it had been lived in. And I looked at my kids while they were waiting for me to put out breakfast. And I looked at them and I said, you know what? My kids deserve mommy. They don't need to hear any more of the drama. They don't need mommy to be distracted. So let's go out to eat. And so we went out to eat and we really just had a good old time. And that was that. And then Sunday came around and let me tell you something. We had a lazy Sunday in the house, getting ready for the week. And so I wanted to start watching Hocus Pocus 2 that came out, but refresh them on Hocus Pocus 1. So we watched Hocus Pocus 1 when we were eating brunch yesterday, and I fell asleep. Isn't that the best when you fall asleep after a good meal? And you just it was so necessary. Never watched Hocus Pocus 2 yet. But fast forward to yesterday evening, I see everybody talking about this Jeffrey, how do you say his name? Dahmer? Somebody give me the phonetic breakdown of this guy. I said, let me start watching this. Not that I wasn't interested in it, but I get a little scary. I get a little scary on certain documentaries that are real. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I was like, do I just want to see the cliff notes from Dahmer? Am I saying it right? Dahmer. Thank you for everybody sending me the phonetic breakdown. Dahmer. Am I saying it correctly? Give me some type of love. Dahmer? Jeffrey Dahmer? Is that it? I hope so. On it. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Jeffrey Dahmer. So the little one has had these twists in his hair for a while to the point where now it's starting to lock, and that's like neglect at this point. And I own that. So I said, okay, let's sit down and let me take your twist out so that we can, regroup here. Well, nobody told me that this was not going to be something for children. Maybe I should have known that, but I didn't. So I started watching it and it just felt ominous. I said, this might not be for you, so we'll do your hair tomorrow. This is priority. I need to catch up with the world. I started watching episodes. I watched the full episode 1 I watched majority of episode 2, and I fell asleep somewhere at the end. Shout out to Auntie Melba that's in the room with us. Good morning. And I just want to say a full shout out to the entire room. I know those air horns are kind of loud because it is early, but I just want to say good morning to the entire room. I've been kind of rambling right now, and I need to take a little moment to reset. So let's reset the sequence.
Sit back and relax. It's time for the Natasha Simona sequence.
Thank you, Rick. So with that, I just wanted to see all of what was going on, and I fell asleep to the bottom of the second episode and woke up. My phone rings and I'm looking at the phone and it's a person from the East Coast, and I'm thinking, like, why aren't you sleeping? Because at this point it's like 3:00 in the morning on the East Coast. So I'm like, hello. And we start talking, and I'm, telling the person on the phone that this is what I'm watching. And the person asked like where I was at with it. And I had fallen asleep and woke up, and it was like 2 minutes into the third episode. So now I have to double back and go back to the part where I fell asleep. But here's the thing. This series is sickening. So my older son comes out to the living room and he goes, are you watching the Jeffrey Dahmer? See, I forget very quickly. Maybe it doesn't matter. She goes, he goes, are you watching that? I said, yeah, but he says it with disgust. And he goes, why? And I said, well, the world is watching it, so I need to watch it to know what's going on so I can talk about it. Like, that's the business I'm in. I have to see and watch certain things that I wouldn't naturally watch because I need to know. I need to keep up. And he just shakes his head. I said, excuse me? I said, are you giving me disapproval? And he goes, do you know the story? And I said, no, why don't you tell me? He goes, no, I'm going to let you watch it for yourself. I said, no, how about you tell me? And so he kind of gives me a little bit, and I said, okay, let me watch it for myself. He goes, and by the way, the people, the victims' families didn't even want the documentary, the situation to be put out there. So this is going against the family's approval. Now I have things to say on that, but it is disrespectful. But in the name of Hollywood, the story is public. Listen, they're going to do what they're going to do. So, I see people, I'm live right now. So, this is going to be put up for audio later. And I'm live right now on Instagram, and people are like, never heard of Jeffrey. No, I've never heard of it. I've never heard of this guy. So here's my son, my 13-year-old filing in, like he knows about stuff I don't even know about. Shout out to my son for just being like ridiculously tapped in and like smart. Cause I never heard of this. I never heard of this guy. I never heard about the story. I never heard about anything. So imagine me watching the first episode. Now I will not be a spoiler to the series whatsoever, but what I will say is the first episode, as I look at the window right now, I left it open by accident. And when I came into the studio here at home, I'm home. This ain't glamorous, but it is a studio space. That's real. I left the window open and it is wide open, and I'm sitting here just a little bit scared. So in the living room over there, when I was watching it, the windows in the living room were open. And I was so scared to go close the window because not to give too much about where I live and all those things. I live in a very good area. But where my apartment is facing, there's like I don't know how to explain it. It's not an alley, but so there's a highway. So like I can see the highway. And then there's a space between the highway and the building, if you know what I'm saying, right? And so in the back of my head, in the back of my sick head, in the back of my scary head, I think the boogeyman can crawl up the trees that's right here and see me. So, or somebody can have like a drone camera in the tree and like see my apartment. So now I'm watching this documentary thing. What do you even want to call this? Series. And I'm watching the TV and I just look over to the window like this. And the two big behind windows that I have, they're two big windows, like floor to ceiling windows. And I'm looking and I'm like, the killer is watching me watch this right now. I'm next. Not even knowing that somebody needs to come and live with me. I'm too scary to live alone. This is so sickening. It's so now I'm watching this. So now I send kids to bed because I needed to talk about this. I needed to relate to y'all because I'm seeing everybody, talk about this. And so I want to be able to relate. And so all the lights are on in my house. All of them. Even a little light under the kitchen cabinet. And the kids' bathroom light is on. Somebody save me. So then my son, my one son, the 10-year-old comes out and he snuggles up with mommy. And, when he's sleepy, he rubs his face all over my face. Jesus, Christmas tree. So when the little one is sleepy, he's all very, like, God damn it. I'm trying to watch the freak show on the TV and here he comes. So I'm like, mama bearing him and I'm kissing him up and he goes to bed. Mommy, won't you cuddle me? No. Natasha, your tree plant is moving back and forth. Oh, don't tell me that. Don't tell me this. Don't tell me anything about this. Don't tell me about the decoration moving because I will flip the table. I will flip the whole table and run out of here. So I send the little one off to bed. Then the older one comes and he doesn't get all chummy like the little one, but he gets all like, he lingers and he wants to have conversation. I'm like, go to bed. Samuel L. Jackson, when he did the rendition of Goodnight Moon, he's like, go the F to sleep. I'm like, go the F to sleep. So I kiss him up and, he's got a deep voice. Good night, Mom. I love you. I'm like, I love you too, son. So I had to call him back because I didn't want to move from the couch because somewhere in my brain, I said, okay, if I don't acknowledge the two windows that are open right now and I stay focused on the TV and my covers, because I'm now like wrapped up in my blanket. I've got the blanket on my head. I really look like a freak show. I've got the blanket on my head. I've got everything situated like properly. Okay. Cause I was texting my friend last night back and forth. We're texting and I'm waiting for him to call me back. He had just landed. And so he's like, I'll call you right back. My baby mama's calling. I got to call you right back. So I'm thinking, he's got a long drive. I'm like waiting for him to call me back. He ain't never called me back. Shout out to you. He's in the room. So I got the phone situated. So when he calls back, my movement is very right here. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I'm waiting for the phone to ring. I'm watching the TV. I'm in the corner of the couch. I'm like in the nook of the couch, but all the freaking lights are on. So I'm like, son, help. So he comes running out. I'm like, can you just turn off majority of the lights, but leave the living room lights on? He goes, you want me to leave the living room lights on? I said, I'm a little bit scared. He's like, so turn this nonsense off. I said, I have to watch it. I have to do the work. He goes, so you're going to freak yourself out watching this? He's like, Mom, do you just want me to come sleep out here? And I was like, no, I don't want you watching this. He's like, Mom, I've known about this story for a long time. Like, you're catching up. Hello? So he goes, hello? So he turns off the lights. And I was like, leave the light in my room on. Leave the light under the kitchen on, but turn the overhead, turn all the other lights off and leave the living room light on. So there I am under the covers. I've got the covers over my head. I've got it wrapped around me. I have to turn up the AC because now I'm freaking hot. And there's the windows open. So I'm making, Natasha, if you make no eye contact with the windows, the boogeyman that is outside can't see you. Okay. So I'm 6 years old now. You can't see me. You can't see me. You can't see me. And I think because I was so hot and scared, I fell asleep. And I woke up sweating so bad. I was like, oh. So when I got up to, answer the phone, because I told you my friend from the East Coast calls, and so he hangs up. I low-key wanted him to stay on the phone, so now I'm dragging the phone call. So now I can't go back to sleep because I'm scared. And so episode 3 started rolling in, but remember, I fell asleep towards the bottom of episode 2. So I pause it and I'm like, oh God, what can I put on? Like maybe I could put a Disney movie on or something. And so I was like, no, let me just put on the news. So I put on the news, the world news. And that's scary in itself. So I just laid there and I'm scrolling on Instagram and I'm making sure that I put out the reminder for today's episode and all types of stuff. And I'm like, I just need somebody to call my phone right now and just talk me to sleep. So I get up and I'm like, let me just go to my bed. And I turn off everything kind of. And then by the time I go to sleep, I wake up and it's 3:00 and now we're here. And I needed to go to my car. You think I'm going to my car? I'd have to call Carlos down at security. Carlos, can you come upstairs and make sure the Demogorgon and the boogeyman are not at my car? Because I have to go to my car to get something. I'm such a freak show. So if you're watching that episode, that series on Netflix, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, it is insane. This is the first time I'm hearing about this. This is the first time I'm hearing about this story, and it is sickening. And so I'm 1.5 episodes in, and we'll keep up with that. Shout out to everybody waking up and getting ready. It is 17 after the hour. If you are hearing my voice right now and you've got somewhere to go, it is 17 after the hour. Don't you dare be late because of me. Dahmer. Damn it. Did I say it wrong? I don't even, you know what? Do I need to respect this man's name? F your name. You did some destruction. Oh, thank you, Rick Party. He says, Dahmer. So is it saying damn? Damn, damn, son. Hello? Run that to me. Run it to me. Yeah, F his name. Y'all, listen, Dahmer. All right, Dahmer. Let me write this down on a damn sticky note at this point and post it up somewhere. All right. Let's get a sticky note. Here we go. Just so I don't forget how to say it. Dahmer. Dam. So we'll put the Dahmer. Look how I gotta remember it. You see the little thing over the A? Za. Okay. So we'll put it right here, right at the arm of the microphone. So you know what? Here is better. So now when I'm actually we'll put it here on the tripod. Okay. All right. Well, there we go. Don't correct me no more. I don't care. Oh, it's like Palmer, Dahmer. Well, listen, damn it. I don't care. The Dahmer, the Damer. Is he alive? I just want to know. Give me a fast forward breakdown, because, now I really do want to do research in the name of this being an actual true story. It's sick as hell. It is sick. It's sickening. But anyway, moving on. National days. Why is this? Oh.
Sit back and relax. It's time for the Natasha Simona sequence.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Today's Monday, October 3rd. It is 20 after the hour. You are watching the Natasha Simona sequence, and I am Natasha Simona. This is a sequence. You're going to get it all. You're going to get it all here. Okay? What did we do so far for the day? We done cried. We laughed. What's next? What's next? Let's get through these national days. Today's National Child Health Day, so make sure you get your children's records out. You know, that little blue pamphlet. What color are yours? I have a blue one and a yellow one. And, they killed him? Well, we've moved on. He's not part of this portion of the sequence. He's behind us. He's yesterday. He's 5 minutes ago. Today's National Child Health Day. And make sure that your children's health records, if you still have children in the house, 17 and younger, and you are still taking these little precious things to the pediatricians and all of that stuff, grab their records, dust it off. After these last couple of years of dealing with the world shutdown that we did, a lot of people are behind with physicals and things like that, and dental visits and eye visits and all that stuff. So make sure you just pull those records out. And as I sit here trying to play it cool, I actually am looking for my children. Okay, it's in an envelope. I'm very organized when it comes to records. Birth certificates, social security cards, medical records, everything is in one folder. Not, it's kind of big, but you put it in a folder in the box, everything is in one area. So never ever catch me slipping, but I'm still looking, because the way these papers are folded over, I couldn't see it. But, today's National Child Health Day. It's also National Techies Day. Do I have any techies in the building? I know Techie Mommy, who hails out of Hawaii. Shout out to Hawaii. She's a techie, but if I have any other techies in the building, today's your day, National Techies Day. It's also National Consignment Day. So I didn't really do too much research. This bun on my head is weighing me back. But I didn't do too much research on this National Consignment Day, so I'm not too sure the origin of what it means. If it's a day where you go bring your stuff to the consignment stores, or if it's highlighting the actual consignment places. I'm not sure, but here's what I will say with that. Although it is a day for the consignment shops to whatever degree, if you do decide to bring stuff to the consignment shops today, please think twice and send it down to the different areas affected by the hurricane. We're going to get to that. And last but not least, it is National Boyfriend Day. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that day, because I don't have a man. I ain't got a man. I ain't got no boyfriend to celebrate. But shout out to my ex-boyfriends that are in here. I'm not trying to be messy, but they are in here. I see the names rolling in when I catch it. I see y'all. Y'all need name recognition. Hello? Shout out to Al. That is a real name. I'm a real fool for that. Do I need to run down the boyfriends that are in here? Shout out to my exes, because I don't have a current. So boom. So if you have a boyfriend, today's National Boyfriend Day. But if you're married, turn your husband into your boyfriend today. Like, treat him like back when y'all were boyfriend and girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Get a little freaky, get a little nasty. Like, I'm your girlfriend for the day. Hello? I wish I had a boyfriend today. Who's trying to be my boyfriend for the day? Which one of you exes trying to resurface for 12 hours? We could do it in shifts. I'll give y'all shifts, 5 hours each. Who's trying to be my boyfriend today? For real, for real. If you're trying to be my boyfriend today, just slide in my DM and let me know. You could also go to the link in my bio and check the wish list, and you could buy me a gift for Boyfriend's Day, because it should be an honor that I want you to be my boyfriend for the day. And because of that, you should send me a gift thanking me for allowing you to be my boyfriend for the day. Ooh, the manipulation. Oh my God. Shout out to DJ CEO. The family is in the building. The family's in the building. I think we need a touch base. I'm saying that live, Jarrell. Y'all are tripping on me saying 5 hour shifts. Why not? Why not? They're exes. So, I'm giving them a little privilege to be my boyfriend for the day for a couple of hours. And if they want to accept that, listen, you don't show up to anybody's house without a gift. Who raised y'all? You don't go anywhere without a gift or a treat. Real talk. Don't show up to anybody's house without anything. So don't come over here thinking you don't show up without anything. Hit that wish list and show up. Anyway, those are your national days. I saw somebody put up one more national day that wasn't on my list. National Habit Day. I didn't see that on my list, but my list isn't the golden list of national days. So if I missed a day, put it in here and let me know. Make sure it's right, because if I say something that's not accurate, I'm going to be real mad. Why is IG shadow banning my comments, says DJ CEO. IG, are you shadow banning people on my live? Do you not know that this right here is the morning show of the morning shows on your platform? Let's get it together. Please don't shadow ban my people. Please allow me to play some morning time music so that we can start our day right. This is the official morning show of Instagram.
Just smile. Just taking some clean, fresh air for
Good morning, everybody. What's another morning song? Listen, I did want to touch on the relief. I know we been building our toiletry stuff and our relief givebacks? I know we've been talking about that for a couple of days since last week, and I told you that I was going to do some legwork and find out a mega church. So I didn't find a mega church per se, but I did find a church, and I'm waiting for William Richardson to call me back. So William Richardson of Grace Baptist Church in Port St. Lucie, Florida. This is your live summons. I called you yesterday and I sent you a message yesterday. That's a friend of mine, guys. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I got to calm the troops down. So I do have a location and I'm just waiting for the A-OK. I will drop the address and all that stuff, but I need Pastor William Richardson III over at Grace Baptist Church in Port St. Lucie, Florida, to return my phone call. Good morning, Rev the Third. Give me 1 second. Let me do something really quickly because somebody asked for this. You guys are going to get me banned. That's about it. Listen, my notes are very shallow this morning because in the name of what I told you this morning, that I went through all this weekend, I'm honestly a little exhausted, but I do have to say that I was given the green light to, let me sidebar this. This is what happens when you're live. So people listening to me on the audio version, I'm reading comments live. Chanel says, we had a Grace Baptist Church in Mount Vernon too. Not had, you still have it, because Pastor Richardson there is a near dear friend, family friend, and I grew up going to that church. I grew up going to two different churches. I grew up Seventh-day Adventist. So shout out to Mount Vernon Seventh-day Adventist, where I grew up. And shout out to Grace Baptist Church right up the road, where I also grew up. And people are probably wondering, like, why did you grow up in two completely different churches? One worships on Sunday and is Baptist. One worships on Saturday and it's Seventh-day Adventist. Well, my mother was not Seventh-day Adventist, but the rest of my family was, including my godmother, Aunt Marie. Shout out to Aunt Marie, the Hodge family, and the Cruikshank family. And so I was the girl that spent the entire weekend in church. From Friday sundown, observing the Sabbath and going to choir rehearsal and all of that stuff. And then Saturday, the Sabbath. And then Sunday, I turned around and went to Grace Baptist Church in Mount Vernon, New York with my mom. And I also sang in the choir there. So I grew up very heavily immersed in the church. And then one day, I said, I got to figure this out on my own. So Grace Baptist Church is still there, to everybody that I see in the comments. Greater Centennial, I visited. Let's just say I have visited majority of the bigger Baptist churches and Seventh-day Adventist churches when the choir would travel and stuff like that. So yeah, churches is deep rooted in my upbringing, and those are the two churches that are my home churches. I have two. So the Grace Baptist Church in Port St. Lucie, Florida, which is an extension of the Grace Baptist Church in Mount Vernon, New York. You've got Pastor William F. Richardson up in New York, in Mount Vernon, New York. That's his church there. And then his son, the third, is down in Port St. Lucie, Florida. So as soon as I get the green light from the Port St. Lucie location, I will give you guys the addresses and stuff. Shout out to everybody putting all of their churches in the chat. Shout out to all of your churches. Shout out to everybody who's representing and holding down their home church. So to what I was saying, now I don't remember what I was saying, but I'm going to act like I remember, and I'm just going to look around my desk and I'm going to play the air horns. And I'm going to see if I can pull it out, because I totally lost my whole train of thought, because I forgot what I was saying, actually. So with that said, in the name of me being a complete scatterbrain, I'm not sure what happened there. And this is live. It's low-key embarrassing. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go to the question box. I see somebody wrote in the question box. So Byron says, Bryson, excuse me. Good morning, Bryson. Bryson says, Natasha, it's also Breast Cancer Awareness Month and Domestic Violence Awareness Month as well. Well, now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bryson, for that. It is absolutely Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We will be talking about that all month long. And Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I'm not sure why I thought that was in March. Is that Suicide Awareness Month? Is it Domestic Violence Awareness Month? Let me fact check this in about 2 seconds. You know what? If I've got any producers watching me, you know what? Never mind. I've got OYA Beats. We have a meeting today. Because I need something. It's too quiet in the room. I need some music. But here's the thing. Let me see something really quickly. I'm gonna see what the month is, because I like to be on point. And so shout out to Bryson for typing that for me, but I'm kind of like not controlling, but controlling in the same light. Like, I want to know. So here's the list of months. We're going to go off of that. It's cryptocurrency month. I don't know a thing about cryptocurrency. So if cryptocurrency is your business, it's also the month highlighting cryptocurrency. It's National Economic Education Month. That's very important. Adopt a shelter dog. Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Caffeine Addiction Recovery Month. I don't see anything about domestic violence awareness here on this list, but my list is not the end all be all. So of everything that's on this list, I am not seeing Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I don't think this month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I'm sorry. Let's see when that month is. You know what? I retract that. It absolutely 100% is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Bryson and everybody in the room, I apologize. It absolutely is. And this list is no longer a list I can rely on. And I just realized that. So that list is no longer reliable. How do you not have that on your list? That is a very, very, very important month. So we will be talking about this. Not right now. What I do want to say is I think this is where I was going before I got sidetracked. Bryson is absolutely correct. I apologize. Hello? I absolutely apologize to Bryson. Bryson is 100%. Listen, let me explain something to y'all. You're not dealing with somebody who doesn't know how to apologize and give people their flowers and you know, all of that. I'm not that person. So I absolutely apologize to Bryson. Bryson is 100% right. And for other people that were typing in the chat, you are 100% right. I was 1000% in the wrong. And that's just what it is. Hello? So is this the second time I lose my train of thought? That's highly, and just act normal. Okay. Oh, this is what I'm going to say to you all. I'm not going to be dramatic, but I've got some information I will be dropping today. Oh, the chat is delayed. Okay. I've got some news that I'm going to be dropping today. I was not given the green light. I think I just said that. I was given the yellow light. So the yellow light, oh, look, I'm wearing yellow today. The yellow light that I was given was, you have the yellow light to say something. You don't have the green light. So I said, what does that mean? So in my brain, so the person goes, well, what do you do at a yellow light? And I'm like, well, it depends on the situation. I speed right through it like it's a green light. I'm like, what? I can't. So I have been given the yellow light to let you all know that I have something that I'm going to be releasing out. It's not an announcement, but it's a thing that I will be releasing out in the next 5 hours or so. So just keep a watch on my Instagram page, my stories and such, and you will see the newness that is happening starting today. There's some new stuff happening, and that is all I can literally say. That's all I can say. That's the only thing I can give. Literally, things are being worked on as we speak, and I cannot make the major. I can't release the major say on what it is. All I can say is today, probably between 10 and 12 Pacific, I will be dropping something off on my page, and that's the most I can say.
Sit back and relax. It's time for the Natasha Simona sequence.
I need a midway show. I need a midway show drop because it's not time anymore. We're in it. So Rick, I love that, but I need a midway something. Do you know what I'm saying? I need something midway through the show. I don't know what, but I need a drop for the midway portion of the show. And a closing. He's going to absolutely get in my shebang today for calling him out live. And he's going to be like, "What were you thinking?" Okay. When I subscribed to your YouTube channel, I thought it included exclusive early information. You want to know something? Should I develop something where it's like early information for my VIP Tasha troops? Let me know if you think that that's something cool, because to be honest with you, I've been, you know what, let me tell you all something. In the name of starting over, and we've all started over in life. There's not one thing that anybody listening to me has done, and they've been doing it since they were however old. You pivot, you maneuver, you dodge, it's all about the bounce back, and you got to be freaking amazing at it in order to survive life. Let's get that out the way. And, I'm building something on my own. I've always been building and growing the Natasha Simona brand. But then you have people that come along the way. Last year, if you guys have been rocking with me, I did a show with Rick Party, and we started doing a show together on Clubhouse. Actually, we started doing voiceover together. And then, being the legend Rick Party that he is, like, do you all know who Rick Party is? Google him. And I'm being dead serious. Please Google him. He is the active voice on ESPN, now on SportsCenter. He is the active voice on SportsCenter. He's on like 70 different radio stations nationally. He's got a nationally syndicated show. Not too much on him though. Hello? Rick, did you pay me for this? So, we're talking about me. Hello? And so I did a show with him. And then we brought someone else on by the name of D. Lee. And if you are not familiar with who D. Lee is, D. Lee has a history with Wendy Williams. I don't remember the name of the show, but when Wendy went to Philly when she left New York, or was pushed out of New York, if you know Wendy Williams' history, she went down there and she had a show. I don't remember the name of the show, but D. Lee was part of the morning team I think their show was on, anyway, all those details are not necessary, but nonetheless, D. Lee worked with the wonderful Wendy Williams. He is the creator of How You Doing? D. Lee created that. So shout out to D. Lee. He is not in the building, but just giving you a brief history. He is a comedian and he's done wonderful work in his career. And so we had a show and it was called The Rick Party Show, respectfully. And so we did that, and then we didn't do it anymore. And then Rick and I went back to doing something together, and then we didn't anymore. And then Rick went off to, do his syndicated shows and all those things. And then I had to find a way to pivot, maneuver, and start over, because in the name of life, what are you going to do? You don't ever, you be sad about things, but you don't let it get you down to the point where you cannot get back up and get going. If you are true and blue to what it is you want to do, you will see this thing through. Hello? Shout out to all 3 sound effects that went off at the same time, but appropriately so, they all worked. Hello? So, all I'm saying to you is you got to learn how to pick it up and keep it moving. And if you are very, very clear on what it is that you're trying to do and the direction in life and where you want to go, you will not let anything, any person, any situation keep you down for any extended amount of time. You take time for yourself. You take time to look at the drawing board, and you take time to understand what's happening in front of you, and you pick the hell back up and you keep it moving. So, with that said, I've always been working on Natasha Simona. For those of you that are new, and I'm new to your ecosystem, the Natasha Simona sequence has been living in existence since February. Rick, if you're in the room, give me accuracy. I want to say since February. I've been doing the Natasha Simona sequence. So for those of you who have been bamboozled to believe that this is something new, I want you to know that this is not new. This was actually put on pause to do something new. I'm just picking up the pieces from, actually, I didn't even drop the pieces. You guys just didn't know about it because it wasn't talked about because I was silenced. So I took the tape off of the Natasha Simona sequence. And instead of pushing it to only one area, I'm now pushing it to everybody because that's just, when you have something and you're being forced to not be able to talk about it, it was hard. But, it didn't weigh me down. And, I just believed in the direction and what things were doing. If you know what I'm saying, without saying it, because it's not necessary. And nonetheless, the Natasha Simona sequence has been happening since February of 2022. And it started off being 5 days a week. The Natasha Simona sequence is entertainment news with a conscience. And prior to the Natasha Simona sequence, I used to do something called Unwind from the Grind. All of this is stuff that you can find on the internet. If you go on my YouTube page, you can actually see there's a playlist called Unwind from the Grind. None of this is a lie. All of this is true. I don't need to lie. I don't lie. You guys clearly can tell I'm very much a scatterbrain, and to keep up a lie will piss me off because I can barely remember what I said 5 minutes ago. So imagine me lying. Won't quite work out for Natasha, right? So Unwind from the Grind is something that I started after I realized that, okay, I'm doing this on my own. And so when I said, okay, Natasha, you're regrouping, you're doing this on your own, what does this look like? And, Rick went off to do his show. His first show was in Chicago, which is still happening right now, 94.3 Jams. You guys can listen to that. I don't know what time because you're all in different time zones. And then he got picked up in Seattle. And I think he also got picked up for a sports station in Chicago. I'm like, oh my God, we were supposed to do this together. And Rick and I fight like brother and sister. We really operate from the same, like we literally feel like we have like the same system going on. And so, we had a little falling out. That is not a secret. I don't think it was as public as it is right now, but nonetheless, it happens. But the funny thing is that he wasn't too far. He'd be calling my phone because we have the same agent. And the reason we have the same agent is because he shared his agent with me. Shout out to Gary Bernstein. And so Rick would call me, or he would call me sometimes and he'll be like, yeah, so he'd be all business. And I'm like, knock it off, you baldy. Or he would send me a message and it would be all business related because, when you still have business going on and people actually believe in you and they are true to helping you, they don't just say F you and leave you and kick you to the curb. So although we had our own little personal thing that we had to let breathe, there was still the business and there was still life and there was still, hey, I don't want to see you just rotting away, like, whatever. So there was still work happening. And while the work was still happening, I'm a grown woman. And so in the name of being an adult and a grown woman, you don't lay around and sit around waiting for the next person to pick you up. You have to pick yourself up. You have to wipe your own ass if you really want to be crass with it. So I wiped my own ass and I got up and I said, now what are you going to do, Natasha? What's the lesson here? And the lesson is when you know the direction in which you want to go in, not only do you not give 100% power to any one person to have control over your life, you have to learn how to do the work and learn the business. If you need me to say that again, I will. You have to do the work and learn the business. And one of my downfalls in being a partner was thinking that, well, my partner he knows how to do this. He does all this stuff, and Rick used to do all of our marketing. And I was like, oh, I don't care. Not that I didn't care. He's good at it. I don't need to learn it. And what happens when the team falls apart? You have no idea what you're doing. And so I had to sit there and learn all of these programs. I'm actually looking at one of the programs called Adobe Audition. So shout out to all of my people in here that know about Adobe Audition and use that for your day-to-day function. I used to send all my voiceover work to him. He would edit it and then send it back to me. So I didn't know what any of this looked like. I bought the program and, never opened it one time because I was so used to being able to send my tracks to him and he'll send it back to me or send it off to whoever needed the work. All of the videos that, he made our assets on, all of those things, I didn't know about it because let's just call it what it is. I played lazy. I did other stuff that he already knew how to do. So I didn't really learn the business that we were growing together. So lesson number 1, I learned the business and I learned fast because I didn't want the quality in what I was doing to be compromised. So I learned and I pivoted and I woke up one day and had a conversation with somebody by the name of Terry Bello. Terry has an amazing history in the broadcasting spaces. And if you know that name, you know it well. And Terry and I had a very long conversation. And during that conversation, the birth of Unwind from the Grind happened. And that was my very first podcast name, sort of say. And I went on, and you can find this on YouTube. I was going to pull it down, but I said, for what? That's my history. That's part of my journey. And I want everybody to be able to see a trail of what I've done. So you can find shows that me and Rick did, and then when we added D. Lee, you can see interviews. And we had a YouTube page, and that one of the videos went viral. That was the first viral video I ever did. Rick, if you're still in the room, can you run me the number on what that Sha'Carri Richardson video did? I want to say, I think it hit like 1 point something million people, something crazy. But I believe it was taken down. I think Rick took it down while he was rebranding his stuff. But nonetheless, Unwind from the Grind was birthed. I created that. And I did that for a couple of months. And I was like, with my name being Natasha, and, there's already another blogger with an abbreviated name, and she's got something similar that sounds alike, and none of it was on purpose. I wanted to rebrand yet again, and it's okay. We just talked about pivoting. This is an accidental message. So listen to me. While I'm talking about who and where and my little trail, this is an accidental message. So in the name of pivoting, I'm like, let's go back to the table. Now, my team is very small. It barely exists. I am the team. And then I've got people that help me. And so when I told you that Rick really, we might have had a little brother-sister falling out thing, but he wasn't too far. As much as we both barely wanted to talk to each other, we still made sure we looked out for one another. And so he would let me know. He would let me know that, okay, you're doing well. I love Unwind from the Grind. Here's my thoughts. And I'm thinking, I don't want your goddamn thoughts. I really did, though. I really did. And so he said, I'm very proud of you. I can see that you're using the software. The different software. And so he definitely said, I got to tell you, you are relentless. He said, you're not going to let anybody stop you from getting to your goals. And I said, I won't. Absolutely not. And that is literally how we regrouped, because he saw that I was not going to stop. And he saw that I needed help, but I was helping myself. God helps those who helps themselves. I am a true blue believer in that. If you believe in law of attraction, I don't care what you believe in, you have to absolutely help yourself. No one is going to come knocking on your door to do anything for you that they can't visibly see that you are not actively doing for your goddamn self. Do you understand me? Do not wait for your stuff to look like a comparison to what a network that has millions of dollars can do. Do not wait for something that these people over here are doing together as a collective team, but you're doing it something for yourself. Okay? Do your stuff, put it out there, and grow as you go. Thank you so much. If you need an official time check, it is 54 after the hour. Get up and get out of your house. Wake up with me, Natasha Simona. You got to help yourself before anybody can come in and help you. You got to know the direction in which you want to go in so that people helping you understand how they can help you. Okay? Fast forward, that is when I decided that while Unwind from the Grind is a super cool name, you know, I realized that I want something a little bit more special to Natasha Simona. And that's where I came up with the Natasha Simona sequence. Everybody has a show. I could easily done the Natasha Simona show, and that would have been fine and dandy, and we would know no different. But I wanted something different because what does the Natasha Simona show entail? It entails a lot. And I said, I don't want a show. I want a sequence. People didn't really like the name, and I didn't care. They said it's a mouthful. And I said, well, don't you eat food every day and stuff your mouth? Don't you say long words every day? And I said, this is the Natasha Simona sequence. Somebody a little while ago, this is years ago, in LA, they said, Natasha Simona, that's a really cute name you created. I said, thank you so much. I'll let my mom, my dad, and my aunt know. As a matter of fact, my Auntie June named me. My mom wanted to name me Amanda, and my aunt said no. My aunt used to travel a lot to Italy at the time. And so one of her good friends' names was Natasha. And Simona, she names me after, my name derived from my aunt because she used to travel to Italy a lot. And I actually just found out the story this year, by the way. So pardon me that I can't tell the story correctly, but I'm still learning the origin of how my name came about. So when someone said to me, I live in Los Angeles. This is a place of where everybody changes their name and nobody has their own birth name. And I get asked a lot, how did I come up with the name? And I said, excuse me, while I make a phone call to the person that named me. My name is Natasha Simona. It's on my birth certificate. So my show is the Natasha Simona sequence. And so this, again, started in February. The origin was Unwind from the Grind. All of this is on my YouTube page. You can go back and watch episodes while you're on the toilet, while you're on the train, while you're in the car, while you're cooking, whatever. So this is not new. This is not something that, I just created 2 weeks ago. This is not something that I created while I was doing something else. The birth of this started while I was doing my own thing by myself. And it started off as a podcast in the audio spaces and would come on 5 days a week. And I would talk entertainment news with a conscience. If you go back to Unwind from the Grind, you see that I start the show. Welcome to Unwind from the Grind. I'm your host, Natasha Simona. This is entertainment news with a conscience. So I don't speak entertainment news in a slandering way. I have friends that work in the entertainment business, and I know that you all are not used to me talking about super friends. I'm not a braggadocious kind of person. But nonetheless, I talk about it in my own way, in my own time. And so being the fact that I have friends in the business that are very close to my family, I said before, I'm not going to sit here and be like, look at me, I've got NDAs. But I am silenced in talking about certain things, about certain people. So there's certain topics that I just will not ever be able to speak on. And sometimes have to get permission on. So I don't speak entertainment news in slandering ways. I just give my opinion with a conscience because those are things in which some people want to hear and people value my opinion, and I appreciate that. And so that's just what it is. And I reduced it from being 5 days a week to 3 days a week. And then when I started another show that doesn't exist anymore, I was advised that that is something that I should not be doing. And that person that was my partner at the time did not want me to be doing the Natasha Simona sequence anymore. But I will let you guys know that I have a contract. Something new to your ecosystem. I know that. And so the audio version of this, not what you're seeing live, my audio version of the Natasha Simona sequence is under a contract that was signed at the beginning of March. So I want to shout out Me No Lion Media and Super Radio. I want to shout out Ken Johnson and his whole entire team for believing in me and offering me a contract. So again, I know this information was never talked about because I was silenced. But enough of that, because I'm very proud of all of the steps that I've taken to get here. And so when the offer was presented to me to have my contract, to have my Natasha Simona Sequence podcast in association with this company, I was honored. Ken Johnson is someone who has a very long history in the broadcasting space. And if it wasn't for Rick Party making that proper introduction, I would not have this situation. So, I mentioned Rick's name because a lot of times we don't know the direction and where our friendships are going to go. We don't know what people mean to you in their life. And, I'm very grateful for the people that have stuck around with me through the ups, through the downs, through the in-betweens, through the quiet times, and made sure that I was consistently working on Natasha Simona. And so, that is where Natasha Simona Sequence was picked up. I was doing it on my own, and Ken Johnson and his company said, "We want you." And so, remember, I said it went down to 3 days a week, and then when I was doing the other show that doesn't exist, that doesn't need to be said here, I was told, you don't need to be doing that anymore. And I didn't feel right because I really love my show. I really love the Natasha Simona Sequence because it's mine. And when something is your baby, it's very hard for you to just turn your back on it because you're doing something new. Do you know what I'm saying? And so a couple of weeks went by and I didn't put out a Natasha Simona Sequence, and I just felt wrong. You know what I'm saying? And because I was working on this new thing, and the person that I was working with at the time wanted me to focus on that, it was like, well, I can do multiple things. My career is in broadcasting. So something that is too much for somebody who is not in your field might deem that to be too much, whereas I can do this with my eyes closed. Like when I finish broadcasting this, I've got a couple of liners that I have to kick out, and this is what I do, and I'm going to keep doing it until I get the big bags. I don't get bags right now. I get up. You know what I'm saying? And so clearly I don't do this for the money because I don't get paid for it. I do it because I love it, and I'm going to do it until I die. I'm going to die on the microphone. So I say all of that to say, I decided that, Ken called me and he goes, first of all, he's probably going to be very upset at me that I'm mentioning his name because he likes to stay behind the scenes. I said, damn it, I need to highlight you because back in 2000 and whatever that year was when you started up that radio station in New York that doesn't exist anymore, I sent you a message, and it's been a long time that I wanted to work with you. And the fact that it is all these years later and you are now realizing my talent and my voice and who I am, and you offered me a contract to be part of your company, it's a full circle moment, and I'm so proud and I'm so excited. And let me say your name. And he's like, no, he has a very deep voice. No, I'd like to stay in the background. Well, Ken Johnson, you're no longer in the background today. Don't call me. It's on Do Not Disturb. So he called me and he goes, I see the new show that you're doing, and I'm proud of you. I'm in your corner, and I'm team Natasha Simona. So whatever I can do, but you do have an obligation over here, and I just want to know what you're doing, and I want to know how I can make this all make sense and make it better because I am on your team. So we had a long conversation. And I sat there for a minute and I called Rick and I said, I feel like I'm at a crossroads. And he's like, well, what are the details of your contract? And we went over that. And I said, well, there's sponsors that are looking at me, and, I don't want to mess that up. And he goes, no, you don't. And you want to honor your contract. And, Ken Johnson is somebody that you've been wanting to work with for years, and you're here. So you need to make a decision. And I made a decision that I'm going to do the Natasha Simona sequence once a week on Fridays. And that didn't really go over too well with the person I was working with at the time. But I said, you know what, Natasha, you have your own backbone and you've got your own stuff going on that was prior to this. And you got to figure out how to make all of this work. So if you go to the Natasha Simona sequence, wherever you find your podcast, whether it's on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeart, Odyssey, it's all over the place. It's literally everywhere you can listen to your podcast. You can pick up the Natasha Simona sequence and you can see that I've been doing this since February. There's no lies here. I don't lie. And so I was doing that, and in the name of really focusing on and paying attention to what is all happening, I said I need to get back to doing my videos. And I didn't know how or what. And, you know, my agent calls me and Rick calls me, and there's a morning show and we want to pitch you for the morning show. I'm not at liberty to say the morning show, but I said, okay. And Natasha, you got to put some stuff out there to show these people you know how to do a morning show. It's the most important portion of any station, whether it's radio or television. And we need to see you stand alone. We need the Natasha Simona sequence back on YouTube, back. We need something. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. And then another morning show comes in. And I'm like, oh my God. And then so there's 3 morning shows. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And they're like, you need to do something. You need more. And so in the name of me figuring out what more can I pull from and where can I put it to not interfere with what I was doing with a partner, I said, well, I am up super early in the morning on the West Coast. So there's a morning area that I can do my thing by myself that's not going to interfere with anything. And since the Natasha Simona sequence is already in existence, then I will throw it in the morning and we'll do it that way. So I got you in the morning and I got you in the evening and then I got you at nighttime on the weekends. So I give you that rundown to say, I know that I'm new to a lot of your ecosystems, and that's fine. A lot of you do not know who I am, and that's okay. A lot of you do not know my history, and that's okay. There goes a little history from about 1.5 years, almost 2 years, just to get you to realize that, you know, I used to do a show over on Clubhouse, a voiceover show with Rick Party. And that's it. That's, you know, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. And life is about pivots. Life is about making sure you stay on the course with what it is that you know you want to do and not letting anything, anyone, any circumstance get in the way of your goals and your destiny. Okay? It is 8 minutes after the new hour. Mrs. Preston, she says, I'm a super friend and I need to be addressed as such. Congratulations, dearie. Mrs. Preston, you are definitely a super friend. And you want to know who else is a super friend? Rick Mother Party. I saw him put that. Damn it, I'm a super friend. Shout out to all my super friends in here. Shout out to my true blue troopers that are down, that rock with me, that ride with me, that's jumping on the train right now. And y'all are like, we on board. I'm with y'all. Listen, one thing I never do is try to split people. Nobody's here. I don't tell anybody to make a decision. The only decision I need you to make is make sure you brush your teeth in the mornings. That's about it. Shout out to DJ Infinite. Shout out to DJ Infinite, first of all. DJ Infinite, man, his list is long. He was the syndicated DJ for the Rick and Sasha show that is no longer in existence, but that was a syndicated morning show out of Chicago, based in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. And then DJ Infinite came over and joined forces with Rick, and he was a part of our team that I was brought into. And then DJ Infinite and we stayed friends. And I will publicly answer you right now, DJ Infinite. You text me over the weekend and you asked me if I was getting your messages, or not over the weekend, but you text me the other day and you asked me if I was receiving your messages, and I have not messaged you back because there's been a lot happening in my life. And so, yes, I am getting your messages, and I'm sorry that I have not been messaging you back. And this is your public acknowledgement that I will message you at some point today. Okay? It is 10 minutes after the hour, everybody. It is time for me to get out of here because I have to go and wake up those children and get them to school. I hope in the conversation that I had with you and just giving you just a little snippet of where this all happened, how the Natasha Simona sequence became a thing. I hope that brought a little bit of clarity to those of you that are new here. And for those of you that are not new here, thank you for rocking with me. And, this is something that we're going to build out together. And I think I started that in saying that I've got something that I'm going to let all of you know today, anywhere between the hours of 10 and 12 Pacific. So do the time conversion of where you're living. I will be putting out a little thing. I don't want to say dramatically an announcement because it's not an announcement. It's in addition to, and you guys will see that when it's ready. It's being cooked and worked on literally as we speak. So I'm going to check. I know my phone is on Do Not Disturb, but I can see my messages on my computer, my text messages. Let me see if I got messaged. Nope, I wasn't messaged. So I can't say anything yet. I was just given a soft green light, a soft yellow light, to let you all know that something is going to be released, to let you all know something is expanding with Natasha Simona. Let me address the question box. I know we're live, so I will not be reading this question live, but to answer this person, if you all want to see it, take a minute and look at your screen. There's the question, and the answer to that is no. And did I address all of the questions? Yes, I did. Everybody, I want you to have an amazing day. Today is Monday, October 3rd. I don't know how we got here, but here we are. We are at the beginning of the month. This is the first week of the month. I hope there was a message in there for you somewhere. Life does what it's supposed to do, okay? Life is not meant to be easy. If it was easy, we'd all be winning. All of our bills would be paid. Everybody would be living comfortably. There would be no poverty. There would be no hungry people. None of that would exist if life was easy and life was grand and golden and all of those things. Life is difficult. Life is challenging. So as long as you have breath in your body to wake up and do this thing again, make sure that you live intentionally and purposefully. Make sure you are walking in your purpose every day. We all have different purposes. Don't try to be someone else. That person is already taken. Okay? Be yourself. If you don't like who you are, you have time to reevaluate. When I say you have time, you have this moment. You literally can change your life right now. Like, you don't have to wait for something. You don't have to wait for a paycheck. You don't have to wait for a grand old moment. You don't have to wait for the first of the month or the new calendar year. You literally can change your life right now. So if you're not feeling good about who you are, if you're not living the life that you wish you were living, then you literally have this moment right now to work on that. Be true to what it is that you want out of life, because this life can be taken from you in the next breath. And I talk about that loudly because not only have I been a witness to hearing someone losing their life as they could not breathe and they were trying to breathe, they died. So tomorrow is not guaranteed. Your next breath is not guaranteed. I know we grew up hearing tomorrow is not guaranteed. I want you guys to know your next breath is not guaranteed, because I did not know this woman directly, but I have many friends in the broadcasting space that knew this woman, and she died trying to take her next breath. This is a true story. This is not to pull on your emotions. This is a very true, very sad, and a very unfortunate, scary story. It is very scary to know that your next breath is literally not guaranteed. This poor woman could not freaking breathe. And as she was trying to get to her mother to let her mother know she couldn't breathe and she needed help, this woman died. Your next breath is not guaranteed. So live in your truth. Be very purposeful with your life. I am here on purpose. I am here at 14 after the hour on purpose. Nobody forced me to be here. I want to be here. I know it's early. I intentionally want to be here. And later on today, you will see my next intentional situation. They're going to kill me. With that said, everybody, I want you to have an amazing Monday. One more question in the question box. Okay. Good morning, Tammy Doreen. Tosh, how's the care packaging going? I will reiterate, thank you for asking me that. I know it's the bottom of the show. I talked about it earlier, but I will say that the care packaging is going well. I am waiting for William Richardson III over in Port St. Lucie, Florida at Grace Baptist Church down there to give me a call back. And I will aggressively be on his tail. And if you all know William Richardson, that's a big guy. That's a big guy. So I'm going to be on his tail, and I will get you guys an address at some point. So just stay tuned for that. All right. Anyway, everybody, you have an amazing day. Let's see if I know Rick is going to be so mad at me, but we're going to see what this sounds like. Hello? Let's see something here.
Thank you for listening to the Natasha Simona Sequence.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.